Hey guys, welcome back to We're Not on Drugs, We Promise. I am your host, and they are your co-host. Um, and today we're going to be talking about something interesting. Uh, Moon, take it away.
So today we are talking about the Lindsay Clancy trials. I know we don't have a bunch of followers because I don't think we ever get a ton of comments. Granted, I don't check the channel a whole ton over on YouTube, but if anybody does feel the need to comment something, keep it civil, please. And so, okay. Sorry, I need to get my thoughts together. Damn it. Okay. So this happened back in January 2023 is when the incident happened, but there was a long time of just stuff building up repetitively. And so here, January 24th, 2023, the kids were found strangled in the basement, with Lindsay having jumped out of their second floor window in their bedroom, and she suffered something called a Jefferson buckle, which is where you hit the ground head first and your one of your cervical spine, part of your cervical spine that's like right at the base of your neck, basically just bursts. It explodes outwards. There's about four different types of Jefferson buckles, but we don't know for sure which one she suffered because I haven't been able to find any sort of evidence logs. She is paralyzed from the sternum, which is like right where your rib cage meets in the middle of your chest. She's paralyzed from the sternum down, and what is weird is her wrists were cut, similar to SH. And she supposedly had also cut her throat. So I did get
Um,
most of.
so I didn't yeah. From what I know, is not much.
Mhm.
Um, but
So Lindsay met Patrick back when she was in nursing school, and they married in 2016. Um, she went to the Massachusetts General Hospital for, I would assume, her residency and everything to become a nurse.
yeah,
And
I.
after, go ahead.
Um, I know this much, like what you're saying. I know this much. Like I know what I looked into. I know like kind of how they met, and like exactly what and kind of what was going on up to what happened. And I know, and obviously I know what happened, but I don't really know much of the actual trial itself in court. But yeah.
Mm, yeah. Did you look over that link I sent you for
Yeah.
the whatchamacallits?
I
I should
I
probably
clicked
go.
I clicked on it, but I couldn't figure it out and get the transcript thing.
Eh,
But
that's
yeah,
all right.
but yeah, you can
Talk
go
to
on
Rev.
talking. Go on with like,
Let me go try and pull it up because it's not freaking working for me.
yeah, but yeah, go on and
I
it's
don't
what
even
you were
have to
saying.
make an account. I don't even have to make an account on my phone. Okay. But I'm just recapping because if somebody listens to this and like they haven't heard of the Lindsay Clancy trial before, it's just a good idea to just recap.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so they married back in 2016 and she was an L&D nurse for I believe it was 10 years. They had their eldest, Cora, on I believe it was December 24th of 2017. Their Dawson, their middle, was born in 2019, and Callan, their youngest, was born in 2022, like May of 2022. Um, I, I forget what all reactions she had after having Cora, but she started having postpartum anxiety, after having Dawson, about 4-ish months, if I remember right, because she
Yeah,
was going to be going back to work soon. And she just had that sort of anxiety, like, I don't want to be away from my kid. Like, that's a that's like a 4 month old, not maybe 4 months old. Like that is still a new human being. That is my new human being.
yeah,
I don't want to be away from it.
yeah. I mean, no, their second kid, because like after they had their first kid, they were fine. It
Yeah.
was it everything didn't start happening till after they actually had their second kid. That's when she started getting symptoms of all this.
Hmm.
And it was they thought it was uh postpartum depression, but it was actually postpartum bipolar. Um,
Hmm.
and they 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 prescribed something, but she declined because she was still breastfeeding. And then after
Yeah.
they had their third kid, they prescribed the same thing again, which she actually took on that second time they prescribed it after they had the third kid, and that's what fucked her up.
Yeah, no, so they prescribed her Zoloft. She didn't take it after having Dawson because she was breastfeeding. She didn't want to have that possibility of having it in her bloodstream to make her milk and give that to Dawson. But so she declined the Zoloft after having Dawson, and then about 2 or 3 years later ish, about 2.5, if just rough math there. She had Callan, but after having Callan, she had a bit of hypomania. Um, at 1 week postpartum, she started getting up at, I believe they said it was 4 a.m. And she started running 3 miles, did 30 minutes of the Peloton and 30 minutes of aerobics at 1 week postpartum.
Yeah.
1 week postpartum, you should still be like in bed, taking it very easy. Because, mind you, I don't know how many of you know how big the placenta is. The placenta is the size of a dinner plate. You have a dinner plate sized wound on your uterus after having a baby.
Oof.
And you are, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say you're still pretty big risk for having um hemorrhagic shock from that if you do too much. But let's see here, where am I at? Oh yeah, and she ran a 5K at 5 weeks postpartum. Because it was that hypomania after having Callan. She was like, "Oh yeah, I feel great. Let's do this, 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 and this." Oh yeah, that's right. After they had Cora back in 2017, she had a slight hypomania where she was just like, cleaning up around the house, keeping it tidy, being like, "Oh, let's get rid of this, this, and that because I just want to keep it neat and clean and tidy in here." Which wouldn't be too out of left field for a new mom, I would think. Let's see here. Right, and then around 12 weeks postpartum, she like that like she switched like on a dime from doing all of that running the 3 miles, the 30 minutes Peloton, the 30 minutes aerobics. She went from doing all of that to she developed depression, anxiety, and insomnia, where she was sleeping about 3 hours a day on average, and her parents came up from their house to help out. September 12th, she went and scheduled a psychiatric appointment with Jennifer Toth. I think I'm saying that name right. I'm not sure. But let's see here. But yeah, so when she went to have that psychiatric appointment with Jennifer Toth on September 12th of, I believe it was 2022 as well. Because like mid to late 2022 is when this all starts happening, and it has a huge snowball effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so they gave her an Edinburgh postpartum depression evaluation. She scored a 23. That is like one of the highest scores you can get. That is severe depression. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people, from what I've been looking in on it, there's a lot of people that are arguing and going on a back and forth whether she was, you know, sane or not when she killed her kids.
Mm-hmm. What, have you seen pictures of the new wife?
Mm-mm.
Um, the new wife is basically her fucking doppelganger. Like, I forget where I saw it, but I saw a split picture of them. Like, one side was Lindsay, one side was the new wife. I can't remember the new wife's name, but they looked very similar. And if you showed me two full pictures of them side by side, it would basically be like that. Corporate wants to find you the difference between these two pictures meme. That is what it would be.
Yeah.
Like, and it is so fucking creepy that there is just like the new wife looks exactly like her. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
no. After she scored a 23 on the Edinburgh postpartum scale for that, she was again prescribed Zoloft, but she waited again to take it, and she started Zoloft mid-October because she was still breastfeeding Callan. And again, she didn't want to um have that possibility of like having her kids having reaction to the Zoloft because she was taking Zoloft.
Yeah.
But and I'm not quite sure how long she was on the initial script of Zoloft because she was on 25 milligrams of it. And then she was like, this isn't really helping me. And so they what's her name? Jennifer um bumped her up from 25 to 50 milligrams of Zoloft. And she had a reaction to it. And she actually wound up going ER with heart palpitations and extreme insomnia, still getting about 3 hours a night. They put her on Remeron, and she she was like going through the motions. It was like if you don't know it, she had disassociated. Like she was in a dissociative. It's like you're there, your body's there, and you know what you're doing, but you also that's kind of removed from you. But she reported that on November 28th. Yeah, let me do. All right. So now, all right. Next part of my notes is all of the medicine she was on. Are you ready for this list that she was on? Sunny, please, I don't want to be talking to the void. It's so weird just talking to myself on the recording. I need to do here. She was put on, it was either 13 or 14 different medications. I do not know the dosages for most of them. So she was put on Zoloft, as we said. She was also put on Ativan. So Zoloft is the brand name for sertraline. and sertraline is an SSRI. And I'll go over what all the different like classes are for these drugs later. She was put on lorazepam, which is a benzo. She was put on trazodone, which is an SARI. She was put on fluoxetine, brand name Prozac, which is also an SSRI. She was put on clonazepam, which is a benzo. She was put on Remeron, which is a tetracyclic antidepressant. She was put on Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic. She was put on Valium, also called diazepam, which is a benzo. She was put on Lamictal, which is both a mood stabilizer and an anticonvulsant for people who have epilepsy. She was put on amitriptyline, which is a TCA. She was put on Ambien, which is a sedative hypnotic. She was put on busoprone, which is an anti-anxiety med. And she was put on hydroxyzine, which is a antihistamine and a short-term anxiety medicine. She was not put on all of those at the same time. That was spread out over the about 5 or so months between September 12th and January 24th. So it was all kind of just spread out. But okay. An SSRI is short for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and that's mostly your antidepressants. SARI is a serotonin antagonist reuptake inhibitor, which is, again, mostly for major depression, anxiety, and insomnia. TCA is a tricyclic antidepressant and nerve pain. Those are for central nervous system depressants that slows down your to treat anxiety, seizures, panic disorders, and alcohol withdrawals. So after that, she started treatment around that Nurse time. Gelada, who also began having ideations, along with auditory hallucinations telling her that she wouldn't be the same and wants to not be here. She reported a 15-pound weight loss, lack of appetite, panic attacks, confusion, and lack of focus. And she reported that to Gelada on December 12th. She called the New Bedford Suicide Hotline on December 4th, but she was told that she was not an emergency because she had no plan. She did meet virtually with an Aspire support clinician on December 5th, where she was, again, told she didn't meet the criteria for inpatient treatment because she, again, did not have a plan. I do want to touch on that in my own sort of way. Back in middle school, I was diagnosed with depression. I never had ideations or thoughts of it, but I was still enrolled in therapy for about, and at the beginning of every session, I was asked, have I had thoughts of harming myself? Have I had thoughts of offing myself? But and still, every time it was no, which was good for me. Wednesday. It was either every single or every other Wednesday that I had a therapy appointment. My mom would drive me there, and most of the time she would sit in the room with me, which was fine. But that is always what my therapist opened with. Have you had thoughts of harming yourself? Have you had thoughts of offing yourself? So, the New Bedford hotline really messed up there. Because I don't know their laws there, but that, you don't have to have a plan to be like, hey, I'm having ideations. I need help. That is, having ideation alone should be enough.
Mhm.
Or even just being diagnosed with depression should just be enough to be like, hey, are you okay? Are you having any thoughts of harming yourself? Like that, just having that diagnosis alone, or even literally just saying, hey, I'm having thoughts of harming myself. Just saying that should be enough to have an appointment for someone to check on your mental state. So the New Bedford hotline really messed up there. The next day, December 6th, she went to go see Nurse Gelada again. And instead of really touching on anything about what had happened on the 4th and 5th, Gelada increased her Seroquel dosage to 400 milligrams a day. December 13th, she had very bad auditory hallucinations, and she told her mom and her
Yeah.
husband Patrick she had thoughts of harming her kids.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
What gets me there is she told not only her mother, but she told her then husband she had thoughts of harming her children. You would think that would be enough to get a psych eval or a therapy appointment or something.
yeah. But no.
Yeah, no, women unfortunately fall through the cracks in healthcare all the time, but this wasn't a crack. This was a fucking sinkhole that she fell through.
Yeah.
And then, so the 20th, December 20th, she went to the Massachusetts General Hospital ER for suicidal ideations. They recommended admission to either McLean or a partial hospitalization day program at the Women and Infants program in Rhode Island, in which she did self-admit herself to the Women's and Infants Day program on the 21st of December, which, mind you, is only 3 days from their eldest's birthday. So while she was in the day program, her EPDS, which is the same test as she took earlier, was again a 23, and her GAD-7 score was 21, both of which are among the highest scores for depression and anxiety, respectively. Dr. Diaz rejected a bipolar diagnosis because of a lack of hypomania or psychosis history. The reason that she rejected bipolar diagnosis is because she didn't take a full history. Like, she didn't ask, like, oh, has this happened before? She was just like, oh, you're just acting like this now. She didn't get any sort of backstory. And because Dr. Diaz rejected that bipolar diagnosis because of a lack of history there, she recommended weaning Seroquel and determined that the day program wasn't for her. And then she reached back out to Gelada, and Gelada didn't respond back to Diaz. After she reduced the Seroquel from 400 down to, I want to say she went down to 100, but I don't know what dosage she went down to. After she reduced the Seroquel, her self-harm and her ideations came back. And on the 29th of December, she told Patrick, I can't tough it out anymore. I need to go to McLean. They went back to Massachusetts General on the 30th and recommended to go to McLean again. She went to McLean and self-admitted on the 31st with passive ideation and spiraling badly during that. She was placed in a locked unit. So it's it's basically kind of like a dorm wing, but in a hospital where you can still roam out and about in the area, but there's no way for um patients to get out of the dorm area because the only people that are allowed in or out are the staff because they have badges that scan them in and out. Let's see. Um, she was placed in a locked unit with 15-minute suicide checks, but she was barely checked on. She didn't see a doctor until January 3rd. She was, again, told to stop Seroquel, and she was discharged January 4th for her daughter's birthday. January 6th, she went to see Dr. Toth again, who diagnosed her with chronic major depressive disorder, single episode moderate, and the meds still were not helping. She began hallucinating again 1 week after being out of McLean, and she went back to Toth on January 10th, who then prescribed Valium. And 6 days later, on January 16th, she was still hallucinating. On January 24th, Lindsay took the kids, or not took the kids, she took Cora to the pediatrician in the morning. And after that, after they got home, when it all happened, she heard a male voice telling her to off the kids so she could off herself. And she was
Oh, yeah.
dissociating the whole time. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I I heard yeah, I know that much and I've heard on that. But yeah, I just think it's kind of like they she was checked into a facility, but she wasn't there for very long. And I don't, yeah, it's like, I think that's a little, for the lack of a better term, fucked up.
Oh yeah, not just a little bit fucked up, it is fucked up.
Yeah.
But from the fall, she did suffer that thoracic spinal cord injury, and she's now paralyzed below the waist or the sternum, whichever one you want to call it. It's about the same thing.
Yeah.
She had fractured ribs, which would check out with a two-story fall. And she had, as we mentioned earlier, she had cut wrists and a cut and crushed throat.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of, another argument I've been seeing is that a lot of people say she didn't do it, that it was somebody else because the cuts were in the wrong place for if you were trying to kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like you fall and like she fell off, like she fell but she landed on her face,
Yeah.
and if
So,
you
because
were
if
to
you,
jump, if you were to actually jump, you wouldn't land face first.
mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people, I've heard some people say like the husband did it and it's pinning it on her.
Yeah. Say that the husband doing it and pinning on her is, as I have seen on the internet, is kind of it's like something everybody agrees that happened. It's something I agree with. We could be wrong. If we are wrong, we're wrong.
Yeah.
But that is what it's looking like it's shaping up to be. Because,
Yeah.
and if any of you haven't searched up the new wife yet, she does look eerily similar to Lindsay.
Oh yeah. That that is also freaky.
Oh yeah, no, it's like somebody cloned her.
Yeah.
But and going back to the medicine for a second, um Patrick, for some odd reason, kept the old prescriptions in his car.
But also, like, if you were trying to, like, kill yourself on the phone logs, he called her, she didn't answer, and then she called him back. It's like if you were trying to kill yourself, why would you call him back? Why wouldn't you just,
Hmm. Or if you're, off in your kids too, why would you call him back? But
Exactly.
yeah, and so she was a nurse. So
Yeah.
in what part of the course that every nurse takes, and I'm sure somebody in my family, because I do have EMTs, prior nurses in my family, um, they could probably tell you one of the first courses that they take for EMT, nursing, doctor. Um, the first class you take is biology. You learn where everything is in the body. So if Lindsay
Yeah.
really did want to off herself, she wouldn't have done cuts with um
Yeah.
that are similar to self-harm cuts. She would have gone along the vein. She wouldn't have crushed up her old medication and drank it in lemonade because that just dilutes it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Uh,
she also, A, wouldn't have done it incorrectly. She also would have known that falling from
but
a two-story building is not going to kill you. You'll get hurt, yeah,
yeah.
but that won't kill you.
I mean,
Hence why
I
she's
have,
paralyzed.
yeah, I have people in my own life that I could ask about, and they tell me the same thing. Because my my dad's girlfriend, she's a nurse.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Saying I've gotten my mom into this trial a little bit, and at first she was kind of iffy about it, and then I've kept sending her stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like, I think he did. Like," and she even said something that I hadn't thought about is, what if he had taken out a new life insurance policy on her and the kids?
oh, oh my
If
god, I
he
didn't
is the
think
one
about
that
that.
did it, if he is truly the one that did this, when all of this is said and done, because we haven't even gotten to the defense portion of the trial yet. We're still in the prosecution or the opening
Yeah,
statements. But if we are correct, that's like a huge if right now. We don't have all of the evidence, so nothing we are saying is concrete. It's just, hey, here's what we have, here's what we're thinking. But it would make total
yeah,
sense because I'd have to go look him up, but there was another guy who did basically the same thing, and he is in jail now. I forget his
yeah.
name. Oh
Um,
gosh, what's his name?
who you referring to? I could probably help you out.
Oh god. It was another guy who did the same thing a few years ago. I forget his name.
True, true crime is always something I've looked into because I actually enjoy it myself. So yeah,
Okay. So, because it was a guy that did it, so it's not Andrew Yates. It's not Cheryl Massip. I think maybe his last name was Wells.
Wells.
Maybe.
Yeah. Um, It's like I have my beliefs on the whole thing, but like from what I've heard so far, I have my beliefs.
Yes, I forget the name of the guy. So if anybody knows, just tell us down in the comments. One of us will see it and tell the other.
Yeah,
But oh God, where was I going with this? What was I talking about?
but yeah, um, it's a little strange and peculiar.
Yep, I remember what I was talking about now. Yeah, so also if you're going to jump out of a window, um, and first of all, apparently the screen was still in the window.
Damn,
What did she do? Did she phase through the window screen?
I know, right?
It's like, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, no, she just suddenly developed Mirio's quirk and she phased through it. But so the other weird thing is she landed she obviously landed head first. Um, that is the fall is why she is paralyzed. But the weird thing is the way she landed. Um, Not only is she face up, but she is also feet first towards the house.
yeah.
The feet first towards the house isn't too odd, but if you're jumping from a window to end your life, um, you are not going to land face up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay. This is gonna sound really weird. Ideally, if you are wanting to off yourself from a building, please do not do this. Do not do this. I cannot say this enough. Please do not do this. Um, Ideally, you're going to want to pick a tall, a tall building, and I would not jump feet first. I would take a swimmer's dive position, and I would go head first.
Okay. So the thing is, just to play it safe, I'ma just right here. Please, for the love of God, if you are listening to this and you are thinking about offing yourself, please don't. In the
Please call
description, I
988.
will I will put the suicide help in the description.
We should have put a disclaimer at the beginning, be like, "Hey, there's going to be some heavy topics discussed in this video."
It's usually what I do in the description.
People don't
Yeah.
read the description, buddy.
Yeah.
But seriously, please, if you're having ideations of harming or offing yourself, please, for us, for yourself, for your family and your friends, um, take a step back, get off the ledge, and call someone or call the hotline. I promise you it's gonna get better.
Yeah. It's gonna be better.
Let me go see if I can try and pull up some evidence logs real quick. I doubt I'll be able to find any.
But yeah. I I've I mean, as of the trial itself and what I've seen, I do I know where I hold up. I know where I stand. Um
Yes, I would
from
love
what
to
I've
know where
heard.
you stand on this.
And I think I'm in the from all I've heard so far, I do think I believe the husband did it. But the thing is, the one thing about the puzzle that still is hard to put together is the factor of exactly if he did it, he's the one that killed them and everything. How how was he able to, pick up everything that he said that they said he picked up, like the medicine and the food, before the paramedics arrived?
So I think he made the 911 call around 6. I forget when exactly. So someone correct me if I'm wrong, but he could have now say for speculation's sake, let's see, actually let me go Google something real quick before I continue talking.
That's quickly going to end us up on the FBI watch list.
It's not that bad.
I mean, they'd be listening to our phones every day, anyways. And there's words that we say that they have labeled to actually, like, if they hear these words or these words in this order, then listen up and see if it's going.
I don't know what you did, but you got real quiet there.
Oh shit! The government's onto me. Fuck.
No.
Like all I was saying was the government has like a little thing where they're listening in on us daily, but they have like a little computer program to where it alerts them if they hear these specific words and these specific words in this specific order, then it alerts them and they'll listen in. That way they don't have to constantly be listening in on everybody 24/7.
hmm Okay. So, I may have to do some math here.
Ah,
Okay,
oh,
so
that's fine.
under normal cooling conditions, it takes about 8 or 9 hours to go from a normal body temperature to 82. However, it was 38 degrees on January 24th when this happened. So that probably does not. Oh, hey, there's a handy little calculator.
Yeah,
Okay.
damn.
Ambient temperature is 38. Oh, put this in a way I can understand it, you motherfucker.
Jesus.
Okay, so it would have taken, if I am reading this correctly, it would have taken 11 hours and 7 minutes at 38 degrees to drop from 98.6 to 82.
Damn.
That does not count for the fact that her spine was crushed, that she had a thoracic spine injury. But also, did you know that when your internal body temp, um, when you get that low, not only are you in hypothermia, you're also in algor mortis. Okay, I was not able to find pictures of the evidence that they took, but I did find a list of all of the things that they have in evidence. So they have a Google camera with a cord, they have a Ring camera, they have a Google Nest camera, they have 3V receipts, a Toshiba hard drive, the CVS bag with the Pedialyte. They have a baby monitor, a brown journal, they have a notebook, 3 books, and McLean Hospital paperwork, a pink iPhone, 4 medication bottles and paperwork with unknown amounts of tablets, a tablet with a blue case and power cord, tablet with a purple case, a black laptop with a charger, a Windows laptop and charging station, laptop with a cord, two workout bands, pink iPhone with clear/brown case, brown belt, yellow exercise band, black exercise band, blue exercise band, silver knife with black handle, digital video disc, swabs from red-brown stains, swabs from red-brown stains on bedroom floor, swabs from red-brown stains on mirror, swabs from red-brown stains on windowsill, swabs from red-brown stains on nightstand, swabs from red-brown stains in backyard, red pajamas, and pink robe. Speaking of the exercise bands, you know what's weird?
What?
Her fingerprints were not found on any of the strangulation devices.
Haha. Yeah, that is very weird because, like, if she did it, wouldn't her fingerprints be on the shit? Like, on the
Hmm?
weapons? Like,
Yeah, and see, the only way you can avoid getting your fingerprints on something are if you have gloves on.
right.
Um, Most people would think, like, oh, well, just snow gloves or something. I would assume you would want some nitrile gloves, especially with the nature of what you're doing.
You know, surgical
But
gloves work very well getting rid of, with, like, not leaving behind fingerprints.
nitrile and cervical gloves are the same things, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But they either did not find or did not log any sort of glove.
Yeah.
They did find Patrick's fingerprints on them, though.
See, if Patrick was out of the house like they said he was, why would his fingerprints be on everything?
Oh no, he could have totally been out of the house. But the weird thing is he has a friend that looks almost exactly like him, like copy pasted, but he has curly hair.
Damn. Ooh, damn.
I
Okay.
think.
Now,
I
now
don't
the
remember if
puzzle.
somebody said it was like AI enhanced or something, which fuck AI.
Yeah. Now the pieces are adding up and the puzzle's getting put together.
Mm-hmm.
But
See,
yeah.
and I forget, or wait, no, I saw this on Threads. I sent that screenshot of it to my mom. I'd have to go. Let me go pull it real quick so we can credit the person that posted it. Um, let's see. It was curlyexo.nails on Threads. Um, she said that so with the way that Lindsay had landed after she quote unquote jumped out the window, because at this point I'm not believing that she jumped out the window on her own accord.
Yeah. I don't believe
Supposedly
that.
she could go ahead.
I don't believe she jumped out the window either.
Hmm. Yeah, but apparently she could see into the basement from a sill, and um you remember that new wife, right?
Hmm. I remember.
Yeah, you remember how Lindsay was in a dissociative state and said she felt like she was just watching herself do it?
Yeah.
What if, now granted, I don't know how true this is. This would make total sense though. What if it was the new wife?
What if it was the new wife? Like, okay. Like, you're saying, okay, okay, and like, I, I, I think it's possible. Like, we could run down this road for a little bit. Like, you're saying, Patrick and the new wife were together and seeing each other way before the incident, and you're saying, well, Patrick was out grabbing everything. It was the new wife that killed the kids and her and everything.
It could be possible. Because, I mean, granted, I haven't really been keeping up with the court, what all has been going on with the courts. I don't know if the new wife has an alibi. She might need an alibi, but I mean, to an extent, it would make sense. Because with
Yeah,
how eerily similar those two look.
yeah. Like, yeah, could could have been. She did say that she felt like out of body experience.
Hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. Hmm, maybe.
Yeah. Because I know if I saw my doppelganger, like if I saw someone that looked just about exactly like me doing something like that, I would start double guessing myself too. Like, am I really doing that? Am I like, what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, I would too.
Because that's just not something you see every day. And then, like, if everybody's like, "Oh, I saw you down at da 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 da," and you're like, "I wasn't there," it's like, "Oh, but I saw you there." I would start losing my mind so quick.
I mean, I'm like me personally, I'm used to it because like first off, like doppelgangers exist, so it's like could be a doppelganger, but because I have DID, it's very possible like you saw the body there, but that wasn't me, honey.
Hmm. You saw the car, but not the driver.
Exactly.
Say, and something off just what I remember just now. You know how, because she's a nurse, she wouldn't crush up her pills to take them?
Yeah.
Who crushes up pills to put in drinks? Just off the top of your head, who does that?
Yeah. Hmm.
Because most times when you say, "Oh, somebody put crushed up pills in my drink," my thought is, "All right, who's trying to drug you and have their way with you?" Like it's, I don't think I've ever heard of a woman doing that. Granted, there are the few oddballs out there, and it's just that I can't English right now.
I
But
mean,
for the yeah, go ahead.
I hate when people throw men and women into typical, stereotypical things because it's like, A, not all men and women are like that, and B, like, women can do the same things men could do, and vice versa. So it's like, people are people.
Oh, for sure. But for the most part, it's like, oh yeah, it's not all men, but then again, it's almost always a man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, have we said all what we needed to say? Is there more to say? What are we doing here?
I don't remember.
Is this the end for now, and we might make a part two in the future, or is this
I would
the
definitely
end?
suggest making a part two in the future because then we can come back and be like, all right, so here's what we were right about, here's what we were wrong about, and here's kind of where it's gone. But have we covered everything so far? Oh, right. So Patrick's only reason that he was willing to testify is that they sealed his phone records and they sealed the 911 call and they sealed a few other things that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But that's really weird.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And apparently I forget when exactly they I'm not thinking of the right word here, but they figured out that he was the one that made Google searches on, I believe it was Lindsay's profile while she was at the doctor's appointment with Cora.
Oh, I
And
didn't
he,
know that.
now you do. And he apparently also Googled how to turn off the airbags in a Kia Sorento.
Damn. See, I knew there was questionable Google searches on her thing, but I didn't know he was the one that did that.
You know, I think this is my opinion, and as I have stated at the beginning of this video, we are all allowed to have our different opinions, and if you're gonna comment, keep it civil, please. But I think what is going to happen, I could be wrong about this, but what I think is going to happen is we're going to realize that they have the wrong person on trial for what happened because she tried to get help. And as I said before, she fell through not just the cracks, she fell through a major fucking sinkhole in the medical world. But, and like, it's not only just because it's like, oh, you're fine, you don't meet the criteria. Her doctors weren't talking with each other, and she had multiple different pharmacists. Not on her fault, but because her doctors were not communicating.
Yeah, she had multiple doctors that weren't talking to each other.
Yeah. So, and even I think it was Diaz or one of them tried to call Gilletta, and they never heard back from her.
Damn.
And then the other issue is they put her on, it was either 13 or 14 different medications.
Uh,
And there was, and I forget, it was the Seroquel.
mm,
So, okay, so kind of back to something that happened with me to kind of relate this. Um, Back during, it was about mid-December to mid-March with me. I was on 10 milligrams a day of prednisone. And
mm.
when they were like, all right, you need to stop taking this so that we can do a colonoscopy for you, they weaned me off of 10 milligrams of prednisone over 2 weeks. They weaned her off of at least 100 milligrams of Seroquel over 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, no, just cold turkey. Just yeah.
Yeah, no, that is basically cold turkey.
Yeah.
Because they went from, I believe it was 100 to 75 to 50 to 25 to, all right, you're done. Now, granted, Seroquel is not a highly addictive medicine, but it's also one that works with your brain chemistry, and your brain doesn't like to have too much change going on. That's why when you are stopping a medication, a controlled medication, 9 times out of 10 they have you wean off of it so that your body gets used to not having that drug in your system anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is that everything? Is there more?
I believe that is all. I haven't caught up on all of the trials, and I am trying to catch up on them even as they keep happening.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna say we'll leave this episode here for today,
Mhm.
and in the future, after the trial, we'll keep behind the scenes. We'll keep listening. We'll keep up, uh, getting updates for ourselves. But when the trial's over and the verdict is done and all the evidence is out, we'll make a part two.
Yep. And I will say, most all of my notes were based off of a podcast on Spotify called Hidden True Crime. They are based over in Massachusetts, if I'm remembering correctly. They're independent journalism, and they are actually in the courtroom when they're doing this trial. And they do have the court audio. And there is another website. Let me go pull it up real quick. It is called it's called Rev, and if you search MAV Lindsay Clancy, it'll give you all the transcripts and video links to all of the court trials so far for this case. That is where I got my information. You guys, if you are watching this to the very end, go to those sources. They will have more information than I have.
Yep. So, uh, yeah. So that's where we're going to leave this episode for today. If you want to, we'll put things in the description down below so you could find some information for yourself if you want to keep updates on your side of everything. And that is all for today. Remember, don't do drugs alone, do them with your family. And we'll
And
see
be
y'all
safe when
in
you
the
do
next.
them.
Bye bye.